We need to modernize our army. We can't rely on elephants anymore. How about flying, dancing elephants then? That is freaking genius. Well, India, you've out-India'd yourself with this one. You are probably the only place in the world that would ever be brave enough to do something like this. Look at that one in the background. That legitimately looks like Dumbo. You have a major in maths. I have a minor in bed. I have a minor in bed? Oh, Neptune. You know, I've been wondering for a long time when this stuff was gonna come up. Gandhi has really been spared by the meme universe when the whole, like, Civilization series comes out. Most people really only know him for this and that old nuclear glitch, but now this is about to get interesting. Hades kidnapped Persephone? Is that his name? Because he wanted a wife. Hades kidnapped Persephone because he needed an extra set of hands to pet Cerberus. I thought we all figured out by now that, like, yeah, Hades might have been bad guy, but he wasn't bad guy. Europe trying to spread Christianity? Hey there, have you heard of Jesus Christ? Ethiopia, who has already been Christian for hundreds of years. I know more than you. This is just one of those facts that, like, I look up this information constantly, but I can never retain it. But I kind of just like it that way. Like, this is just such a huge mystery to me still, how this ever happened. Ethiopia has just randomly been Christian since the 4th century. How did that happen? That's so crazy. Here's a Germanic man, one sculpted by a Roman sculptor, the other sculpted by a Germanic sculptor. There does seem to be one that kind of looks a lot better than the other. The arts have never been their strong suits. Thanks for that, snazzy Italian. You could definitely say that again. Or is this just one of those, like, modern art abstract sort of things? I don't know. It feels like Squidward Tentacles himself probably created this. It's just so beautiful. Allied convoys exist. U-boats, bonjour. This would be infinitely better if they use the format where the polar bear says Guten Tag. You gotta stay in sync with the languages. Date, 1945 in Zwolle, Netherlands. Results, Canadian victory. We have No Germany versus Canada. Units used, this regimen versus all these things. Strength 2 to... What? What on God's green earth happened here? The dude involved literally looks like the Giga Chad meme. He was one of the 2 guys that won this battle. He's basically the Canadian Rambo. Teachers wheeling in a TV so the little kids could watch the Challenger space shuttle launch live. Yay! The Challenger explodes. Mommy! I wish they didn't give it away in the first part of this meme. Like, just saying the teacher wheeling in a TV so little kids could watch it, with the punchline just being, but then a rocket ship explodes. I always think about just how traumatizing this was for our parents. It's like they all remember it. The coins in a pocket of a WW1 soldier managed to stop a bullet. You might say it was his life savings. You know, after hearing that one, I don't even want to live anymore. Legitimately, any regular normal cat name, as Lovecraft pays no attention to that. He's too busy looking at, no, I'm not going to write it here. You know exactly what he named it. Okay, let's just move on. Trying to shoot Andrew Jackson as he attends a funeral. Have your pistol misfire. Have your other pistol misfire. Have Andrew Jackson see you and beat you half to death with his cane. Hello, bozo. Kind of surprised that we're even allowed to still talk about Andrew Jackson at this point. Motivational speakers, you can achieve anything. You have a tiger in you, the tiger in me. Oh my God, is that a Panzer VI? I didn't actually know that off the top of my head. I had to look that up. Belgium in Europe. Aww. Belgium in Africa. All right, it is horrifying, which is what Belgium was in Africa. They were horrifying. Yeah, that situation was poorly handled. Oh no, not the stick figure eating cereal. He will never be connected to Asia looking at the Indian subcontinent. What? I actually just love how dumb this one is. Dude, that is one of my favorite alternative history scenarios if India never crashed into the Asian subcontinent. We wouldn't have the Himalayas. This would be its own little crazy island in the Indian Ocean. Would we even still call it the Indian Ocean? We might call it like the Chinese Ocean, because I don't know if anyone would have discovered it for a long time. It might have just been like a Australian continent randomly found like centuries later. The Indian subcontinent sure looks messy. This won't do, says this random British man. Now that's better. That was the British Empire for you, cleaning up borders for the last several centuries. I mean, overall, they don't look like either one of these images anymore, but all the countries that came out of this in the modern day times are, you know, pretty powerful. Chinese history, Indian history, Greek history, Roman history, French history, English history, and then there's Americans. I found this 80-year-old bike. This is so crazy. This is like an ancient artifact or something. I love how any clip you see from a show like American Pickers, there's always some European in the comment section acting like 200 years old? That's nothing. There's a castle in my backyard that's been around since 1200. What's your favorite place that isn't real? We have the Hyrule Kingdom, Vice City, Australia, and the Mushroom Kingdom. My favorite non-real place. I love these formats that put like 3 non-real things with 1 real thing. Vice City's based off Miami, so if you didn't know, that's the real one here. Indian Ocean Maritime Trade be like India, all the while Southeast Asian kingdoms copying their paper. Just make sure you change it up a bit, but I know you're not. Southeast Asia is a pretty unique place because they weren't just copying homework from the one smart kid. They were copying homework from 2, both India and China. And that's pretty much how they made it through their entire educational career. Nobody is born cool, except, of course, the Polish and Czech pilots during the Battle of Britain, who shot down more German planes than their English counterparts, although they had less weapons. It was because of their sheer skill. I don't know how real this is, but it sounds pretty cool, so I'm gonna allow it. It's gotta be. Just gotta sound cool. No, but I guess in June 1940, the English brought over 30,000 Polish military personnel, including 8,500 pilots. They were in exile, so their country had fallen, but they already had experience fighting the Germans, so that was a big deal. Looks like there's a big old memorial here for them too. Fallen Polish army. That's cool. The Roman Empire was evil, as they look at all these Giga Chads talking about the Roman Empire. One of the many Giga Chads just is like, yeah. And they continue on with their discussion about the Roman Empire. This is the best way definitely to diffuse the situation. Ancient China, foreign triads, bring your books here if you want to trade. Foreign countries brought books. Also ancient China, I don't even know how to read this. Well, you should have thought about that before. Now give me my... What did China probably have in those days again? Gunpowder? Nobody. France, every 10 seconds. Rebellion! 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 To this day, this is really what they're saying. In the streets, there's always some sort of little protest rebellion going on. Trade offer alert. U.S. receives Cuba, Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. Spain receives negative $200 million and a new generation of writers. Well, at least it's not all bad. I mean, you didn't really want this stuff anyways, and who needs 20 million? The generation of writers is gonna make it all worth it. All happened during the Treaty of Paris, one of the 730 Treaty of Parises. The British Second Army, watching as the mines they painstakingly buried under Messines, 10,000 Germans in a single moment, are heard in London by the Prime Minister and cause one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history. You know that had to have felt good. You know at least one of those British soldiers was just chilling in the shower when they heard the explosion. Just like... And it was just like this. Germany on its way to capture Poland every time a war starts. Same thing since 1871. Ain't nothing changed. The Brits who had a cat in the Royal Navy. The Polish who had a bear during WW2. The ancient Romans who had a freaking horse as their senator. I mean, hey, maybe they thought it was going to be a good idea. You see what I did there. But I don't think anyone can beat Norway's Brigadier Sir Niels Olaf III. He's a king penguin that is a part of the Norwegian King's Guard. So that's why no one's ever attacked Norway again since WW2. How can you even compete with this? I'm just saying, it's been around since 1972 and Norway's been pretty damn safe. John 33, oh baby, you must be Egyptian because I'm dying to plow your... Now this guy's going places. Probably to prison, but at least that is a place. I am curious to know if this actually works though. EA's new Battlefield just leaked. It's gonna be Battlefield 1492. Gonna be dropping it on Columbus Day 2022. Prepare yourself. Why don't they do that though? Like, why don't we just go back to some random part in history? It would teach the kids about all this stuff. The Roman Empire fell in 476. The Roman Empire fell in 1453. Oh, they're referring to Byzantium. The Roman Empire really fell in 1806. I think that's a reference to the Holy Roman Empire. The Roman Empire didn't fall until 1917. That's Third Rome. That's Russia. That would mean that the Soviet Union defeated the Roman Empire. Never thought I'd say that sentence before. Poland invading Russia and occupying Moscow for 2 years. Germany trying it and getting partitioned. partitioned. Everyone always forgets this. I feel like I'm the only person that talks about it. As soon as I found this out, it completely blew my mind. It was during the Polish-Muscovite War, which is basically Russia at the time. So, I mean, technically, Poland did something that Germany, France, and even Sweden couldn't do. I should add Lithuania was a part of that too. My Lithuanians always being left out. The 18-year-old British conscript, after hearing "over the top, lads," realizing he's never going to see his family again. I'm just not going. I'm gonna pretend like I tried to get up there, and then all of a sudden I'm having a cramp. Oh, I can't go. My homies are getting shot. My bad, bro. Getting captured by the Canadians. Getting captured by the Yanks or British. Getting captured by the Russians or Germans. Getting captured by the Japanese. Apparently, Bush Sr. was almost captured by the Japanese division that would eat their prisoners of war. Everyone be forgetting just how crazy Japan was back in those days. Which reminds me, me and the rest of Asia trying to figure out how we were colonized by this for 50 years. Yeah, it was different back then. It wasn't just Asia. They were taking it to all of us. The Spanish Inquisition is the worst of all inquisitions. Formally introduced judicial summons, emphasized the damage of false testimony, actively combated the witch hunt craze, ruled forced commissions as inadmissible, less than 25 executions during its 300 years of operation, and finally, the only pre-modern institution that... I can't say that word. Okay, yeah, I literally knew none of that. Not a single one of those things. European history, I can explain. American history, you get far more memes than me. Asian history, I get hardly any memes at all. African history, wait, you guys are getting memes? Yeah, this is sad, guys. This is sad. Ancient Egypt is pretty much carrying the entire continent for everyone here. Sometimes in a blue moon, I'll see like a Mali meme about that dude that was like the richest man on earth. And then it's just like imperialization memes. Gotta come up with new material. Europe deciding control over a small strip of land. Europe splitting entire continents that they control, right? This is not like when they were leaving. Because like when they're leaving areas, they don't really care what the borders look like. They just draw straight lines. Whatever, they'll be fine with this. Reactions in the UK to John Lennon saying the Beatles were bigger than Jesus. Reactions in the US to John Lennon saying the Beatles were bigger than Jesus. They didn't really like that, did they? I mean, obviously that was way before my time, but even I knew that yeah, there's a lot of backlash for that. 476 AD, Eastern Europe taking a selfie in front of Western Europe on fire. 1,000 years later, Western Europe doing the same thing to Eastern Europe. And unfortunately, like Western Europe has kind of just been taking nothing but selfies for the last several centuries. Well, especially the last one, the 20th century wasn't very nice to Eastern Europe. Is this a real image with Justin Trudeau though? I really want to know. This is hilarious. Both world wars summarized, we have Germany, they were in both. The ally that didn't do much, both Austria-Hungary and Italy, and then finally, the random foreign guy. It all makes perfect sense. So with this template, we can probably figure out WW3. We know Germany's gonna be a part of it. Now, who's gonna not do much? I guess if Germany's a part of it, I'm gonna say France this time. And finally, the foreign guy, I don't know. I'm gonna throw a curveball in there and just say Brazil for some reason. Or Argentina. They've got some connections. And big thanks to the October patrons, Majestic Unicorn, Papi Druwu, I Love Marks, Drew's Thick Breaks and Girlfriend, Drew's Argentinian Grandpa, AryanAfterHours, BringBackPolandball, Alfonso M6, Barnsky W, Dalton D, Send Nic, Ivan Lima, Jesse C, LuxembourgLover, Max Cooper, McBlorf, Mine Brothers 999X2, and Stormtrooper 501. Thank you.